Hey everyone, welcome to the 700 Club. I'm Andrew Knox in for Gordon Robertson. Great show for you today. As mentioned, our dear friend and former 700 Club co-host Sheila Walsh will join us live in studio. And recently I sat down with John Cooper, the frontman of one of Christian music's most popular bands, Skillet. That's also coming up on today's program.
But first, in the news, Israeli troops are engaged in fierce combat after penetrating Hamas strongholds in southern Gaza. Meanwhile, families of the remaining hostages are pressuring Benjamin Netanyahu to work for their release. Chris Mitchell reports from Jerusalem.
Israeli military spokesman Daniel Hagari says IDF forces have broken through key defensive lines in Jabalia, Shajaya, and Khan Yunis.
The terrorists are now emerging from underground and are fighting against our forces in face-to-face combat. Our forces are winning and have the upper hand.
IDF forces also uncovered one of the largest weapons depots yet found inside Gaza. The weapons include hundreds of RPG missiles, dozens of anti-tank missiles, and long-range missiles that can reach central Israel. The weapons were located in the heart of a civilian neighborhood. On Wednesday, the IDF showed how Hamas launched a rocket from inside a humanitarian zone. It misfired, but the IDF says it's another example of Hamas using its population as human shields. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says the IDF has surrounded the home of Sinwar, the Hamas leader in Gaza.
So his house is not a fortress and he can escape, but it's only a matter of time before we get him.
Netanyahu also reached out to the Red Cross on behalf of the hostages.
We exert pressure to allow the Red Cross to visit our abductees. Further to that, today I spoke again with the president of the Red Cross and told her to turn to Qatar, which has been proven to have leverage on Hamas, and demand the Red Cross visits to our abductors and, of course, the supply of medicine for them.
The released hostages and hostage families met with Netanyahu, who are now testifying of Hamas sexual abuse, both on October 7th and the time the hostages were in captivity. Doctors also verified Hamas drugged the hostages during their release to make them appear happy. On the eve of Hanukkah, the Israel Antiquities Authority revealed never-before-seen evidence of the time when the Greek ruler Antiochus Epiphanes conquered and ruled Jerusalem.
I am holding in my hand an object that, for me, is one of the most exciting things we've found in the city of David.
These 16 pieces of ceramic roof tiles, unique to Greek culture, provide evidence of Greek presence in Jerusalem more than 2,000 years ago. Archaeologists found these tiles in the Gavati parking lot excavation that verify the time when Judah the Maccabee purified the temple, and one day's oil lasted for 8 days in the miracle of Hanukkah.
So that is what really excites me, because after 2,100 years, we can physically return to the events of Hanukkah.
Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Thank you, Chris. And as Chris mentioned, this evening marks the first day of Hanukkah, the Festival of Lights. And it's a holiday that celebrates a victory more than 2,000 years ago when the Jewish people triumphed over their enemies. And that's an event certainly in the hearts and minds of Jews around the world as they once again find themselves staring at the face of evil. This Hanukkah, we encourage you to do something a little unique, maybe to light a candle and pray one of the traditional blessings, such as this one. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who has kept us alive, sustained us, and brought us to this season. And in addition, we also invite you to stand with the survivors and evacuees of the current war against Hamas. And as you may know, through CBN Israel, you can provide food, water, shelter, and trauma counseling, so important, to those who suffered from the attacks. You can give us a call, 1-800-700-7000. Visit cbn.com/blessisrael or text Bless Israel to 71777.
On Capitol Hill, Congressman Kevin McCarthy announced his resignation from Congress. The California Republican will retire at the end of the year. It comes after a Republican revolt led by hard-right members in October ousted him as Speaker. In a Wall Street Journal op-ed, McCarthy announced his intent to serve America in new ways, writing, "I'm leaving the House, but not the fight," adding that my work is only getting started. 3 university presidents are taking heat over their testimony to Congress about anti-Semitism and calls for genocide on campus. The presidents of Harvard, MIT, and the University of Pennsylvania faced accusations of not doing enough to protect Jewish students. In an exchange with New York Representative Elise Stefanik, UPenn President Liz Magill would not say calls for genocide amount to harassment.
Specifically calling for the genocide of Jews, does that constitute bullying or harassment?
If it is directed and severe or pervasive, it is harassment.
So the answer is yes.
It is a context-dependent decision, Congresswoman.
It's a context-dependent decision. That's your testimony today. Calling for the genocide of Jews is depending upon the context. That is not bullying or harassment. This is the easiest question to answer yes, Ms. Magill.
Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro called Magill's remarks shameful and a failure of leadership. He also urged the school's board of trustees to meet. Magill later posted a video saying she should have focused on, quote, the irrefutable fact that a call for genocide of Jewish people is a call for the most terrible violence human beings can perpetrate. Very intense testimony in that hearing yesterday, Terry.